Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to our May Unsung Hero interview. Um, Before I introduce you to the next guest, I need to give you a little bit of a background. Um, some of you may know that in Rao Legal Group, we have two amazing sisters who work for us, Angela Tu and Pat Wesner. When we circulated these Unsung Hero flyers, where we were asking the team, we were asking everyone to nominate an unsung hero. We were looking for everyone to just spread the word amongst their friends and family. And when we were talking to our team, we said, it would be so great to have firefighters or nurses as nominees because these individuals, just by virtue of their profession, are unsung heroes every single day. They're working selflessly on behalf of others. And to our surprise, we were thrilled to find out that Pat Wesner's grandson is a firefighter, and we had a hero right within the RLG family. And so our next guest is Rich Wesner, who is Pat's grandson and who's a firefighter at the Ewing Township Fire Department. And he's pretty much dedicated his entire life to the service of others. So in a few short moments, you will hear from this young man whose cool and calm demeanor makes him a perfect candidate as a firefighter and also as a hero for our Unsung Hero project. Rich, thank you so much for agreeing to this interview.
Thank you for having me today.
Great. So, Rich, we're going to explain the structure of this interview. As we do with all interviews, we start off by asking a few questions about your journey, how you got here, and some of the defining moments in your childhood, in your somewhere along this journey, what shaped you to doing what you're doing today. We're also going to ask some rapid fire questions. We're going to have a little bit of fun where we throw just some easy questions at you, and you're going to just answer the first answer that comes into to the top of your mind. And we're going to end by asking you some questions about legacy building. As you know, we're an estate planning firm. A lot of our clients are letting us know what their deepest desires are, what they want to leave behind in this world. And so I know you're a very young hero for us today, but it would be nice for us to end our interview by asking you what you want to see as your legacy that you want to leave. So is that okay with you?
Yes, it's fine.
Great. All right, so we'll start off by just talking about your career. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes. So back in 2011, I joined West Trenton Firehouse as a volunteer junior member. Then eventually in fall of 2015, I went to the Fire One Academy at Mercer. I graduated there and became an active firefighter. I was still an active volunteer firefighter, and then in 2018, January 2018, I got hired with the Ewing Township Fire Department full time. And for the first 3 years, I was assigned as a firefighter in the back of the fire truck. And then the last 3 years, I've been assigned as a driver. So I drive the fire truck. On top of
Wow.
that, we run EMS engines, so I hold EMT certification. We do inspections, so I'm an inspector, and I also do investigations, so I investigate the fires afterwards.
Wow. So you started off as a volunteer. So how old were you when you started?
So in 2011, when I started as a junior, I was 14 years old.
Oh my
When I went
goodness.
through the academy, I was 18 years old because you have to be 18 or older to go to the academy. And
Mhm.
then I got hired when I was 21.
That's incredible. And so you're the guy who turns on the siren when you're driving the truck. Is that you?
Yes. Yep. I turn on the
Wow.
siren, hit the horn.
That's amazing. And so I'm curious, you started at 14. Obviously, you couldn't, you probably only started fighting fires after after you got hired. Or do you, as a volunteer too, do you accompany the firefighters to help, with the fires?
Yeah, so at 14, I was able to go on the truck and go to the fires, but it was more just as kind of just see how things operated. I wasn't any hands-on. Once I went to the academy in 2015, then I could actually go in, fight fires as a volunteer, and then as paid, we fight fires.
Okay. And so how many fires have you fought so far?
Uh, Approximately with the volunteer time, probably about 40 fires.
Wow. That's incredible. And can you kind of walk us through the different positions that you have as a, start off as a firefighter or as a volunteer, then you go through the academy, then if this becomes your career, can you walk me through the different stages or levels maybe at the fire department?
Yeah, so with the volunteer, you could start out as a junior at 14, 16, depends on the department and their requirements. And then from there, you go to the academy and you become an active firefighter. Um, and then depending on the department, there's lieutenant, captain, assistant chief, deputy chief, chief. With Ewing Township volunteers, we have all those. With the career side, you start out as a firefighter and then you go right to captain. And right now, that's the only step we have.
Wow. Now, I know when we were talking, before we started this interview, we were talking a little bit about these different positions, and you said something that struck me as sort of just an amazing mindset for people like you. You said most people want to be captain, but maybe not so much the chief, which of course Ewing Township doesn't have. But tell me why. Tell me why most people want to be a captain but not a chief.
Most people want to be a captain because as a captain, you are still a boss, but you get to still fight fires versus a chief where you don't really get to fight the fires anymore. You're going to fires, but you're standing outside directing people versus the captain who's actually going in there and fighting that fire.
And that for you is the most important thing, huh? That's what you enjoy. That that's what your that's what you want to do. You don't want to watch. You want to actually help douse those fires.
Yes. Yep.
That's just incredible. I mean, somebody like me, I'd be very happy standing on the sidelines and watching. So to hear that you know all of you and your team of individuals who go in there, you actually want to help and be right there in the thick of everything. So that's just that's incredible. So can you tell me what influenced you? When did you want to become a firefighter?
So I don't really know when I wanted to become a firefighter, but I've always been around the firehouse since I was young. My uncle was a volunteer firefighter, so we always were at the firehouse for different events and stuff. So I just always been around it, and then just as the years went on, I just kept up sticking with it. And when I turned 14, I joined, and it's just something that I've always just wanted to do.
And I know your sister actually was the one who nominated you. And when we got her nomination, we don't know your sister, we only know Pat. But when we got her when we saw her nomination, we read through the nomination. There was one thing that stood out, which is why we selected your nomination. She said that you saved your father's life. Can you take us back to that and just tell us about that?
Yes, so the night before Father's Day, in 2017 it was, we all went to bed. My dad stayed up and was downstairs watching TV, and my sister heard a noise, and we went to see what the noise was, and we found my dad on the floor having a heart attack. Um, just that January, I just graduated and became an EMT, New Jersey certified EMT. So my training kicked in and I immediately performed CPR until the cops got there, which took over, and then the medics got there and they did their thing. And it was a team effort. And he went to the hospital and the doctors sent him to surgery. And the main artery to your heart was 100% blocked.
Oh my goodness.
So it's kind of a miracle that he's alive. They say that it was because of me starting CPR right away.
And
I mean,
he's completely normal and he has no after effects of that incident.
no after effects from the heart attack whatsoever.
That's incredible. I'm sure he not only is thankful, but he's probably just so proud of you.
Yeah, yes, he told everybody for a long for a long time afterwards.
Yeah, and in fact, that was the first thing that came out of Pat's mouth when we were talking about unsung heroes. She said, "My grandson, he saved his father's life, and this is her son, correct? This is
Yes,
her
yep.
son." Yeah. And so you said you wanted to be a firefighter as long as you've known it. And so would you say that there was a specific person who may have influenced you? You mentioned briefly about your uncle who was a firefighter. Were there any specific people, or do you feel like it was just the surroundings and the environment?
Well, probably my uncle, just because if he wasn't a volunteer, I probably wouldn't really be around the firehouse. So it probably I wouldn't have had that exposure to the fire department and what it was about. So I would say
Right.
probably him getting, being a volunteer and allowing me to
That's
come
incredible.
see
I
everything.
want to actually share something. And so I'm going to share my screen and I want to show you something. And I want you to take us back to this. We got to see this. And there were two pictures. There was this and there was this. Can you take us back to this moment? Do you remember when this was?
Yes, so that was in January of last year. It was so that day I was stationed at West Trent Firehouse as the driver. The fire we got dispatched out around approximately a little after 9 o'clock for that on the other side of town. For us, that's a ladder call. So we take the ladder truck. So I drove the ladder. I positioned on the side of that's a corner house.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, so I positioned on the side of it. In that
mm-hmm,
photo, it'd be on the right side. I positioned the truck. I put ladders up to the second floor on that side and on the rear. I tried to so the fire was on the third floor, coming out the window on the side. I'd put ladders on the rear to try to get up to the roof to cut a hole, which was for ventilation, so our guys, it would make easier for them to get in and put out the fire. I was unable to. This photo is me actually on the first front of the structure, uh,
mm-hmm.
on the second floor. That's an overhang over the porch. I was trying to get to that roof above it, but was unable to get it because it was too steep to put a ladder. So it was the potential of falling. So we decided it was too steep. We had to not go that route. And that fire was, like I said, on the third floor out the window, but we found out later it was actually in a knee wall. So it's a room where the wall comes halfway up and then it bends and then comes up like that. That's considered a knee wall. So the fire was trapped in there. So it took a little bit to open that up and get in there and put it out.
Do they know what caused that fire?
Uh, at this time, I don't
Okay.
I don't know what caused that fire.
Right. And you had said something previously that I thought was just mind-blowing to me. You said that if I showed you a picture of any fire, as long as you remember what that address was, that you would remember everything. Is that true?
I don't know how I remember every single fire, but yes, if I see a photo of the address, or even if you just tell me the address and a kind of a little brief uh description of what happened, even if I don't see a photo, I can remember that whole thing like from start to pretty much finish. I mean, some details, of course, maybe not completely, but I
Right.
remember almost everything.
That's incredible. And you've done over 40 already. So just to kind of think that you can remember I guess when you're in it and you're managing it, it's just incredible that those visual details are still in your mind. They're like etched. etched in your mind.
Yes. Yep.
I'm going to interview you again when you're 60, and I'm going to ask you that same question. Let's see.
Well, we'll see then if I can remember.
So, I think at this point I am now ready to get to the rapid fire portion of this interview. So, are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
That's great. So what's the first thing you reach for when you get out of bed?
First thing I reach for when I get out of bed is probably my cell phone.
Your cell phone. Okay.
Yeah,
What are
it's
you
probably the
checking?
first.
Are you checking
Uh,
social media? Are you checking text messages from loved ones? What are you checking?
so the first thing I check to see is I have any text messages, usually from my parents, and then usually I see if there was any calls that I missed over the night while I was sleeping.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you're like you're on a different level of why you need that phone the first thing in the morning. What is the one thing that is unexpected about you that people would be surprised to know?
It probably would be the fact that I played ice hockey since I was 8 up to my junior year. Also that I played trumpet that entire time. That was to my senior year. I went to Disney World twice, and played on their stage down there with Notre Dame High School. And
Oh
also I was
goodness.
in choir in middle school, which that definitely would surprise
Oh
people.
my goodness. Yes, a sports guy, a singer, and a musician. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's awesome. If you could eat just one meal every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One meal every day? Oh man, probably anything spicy, hot wings,
Oh my goodness.
buffalo
Okay.
chicken, anything like that.
Anything spicy.
Yep, I
Okay.
love spice.
What are three things you cannot live without?
What was the question?
What are three things you cannot live without?
Three things I cannot live without. Well, one would be my kids and wife. The second thing would be the job, my profession. Uh, if you ask anybody, this is all I think about. That's all I think
Oh.
about. Um, and the third thing, probably soda. I
Oh, okay.
I have a bad habit of drinking a lot of soda.
What kind? Any favorite?
No, the Coke, Pepsi doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You're Coke and Pepsi neutral. It just has to be anything,
Yep,
any
just
soda.
soda.
Um, if you go back to your childhood, what is the one advice that you would give to your younger self?
Oh God, to my younger self, probably try harder in school, get better grades.
Aw.
I always said that I didn't like school when I was in school, and I'm still in school.
And you're still in school. You
Yep,
did.
I'm still in school. I got a bachelor's in fire science. I'm working on my master's in homeland security, and
Oh my
I take
goodness.
a bunch of classes regarding stuff with the fire department. Right now, I'm in fire two. I take inspector classes, investigation classes,
So it
rescue
sounds like you
class.
love learning now.
Yeah, I get it. It has to do with what kind of learning it is. It's stuff that
That's true.
interests.
And also, who's teaching you? Because sometimes teachers also can make a difference in how
Yes,
whether you like a subject or not.
yep, that is true.
You mentioned wife and kids. How old are your kids?
So my oldest is 4, just turned 4 at the beginning of April. And my youngest is 11 months right now.
Oh my goodness, they're really, really young kids. Okay. And if your wife had to describe you in one word, what would she say?
Stubborn.
I cannot sense that at all. Uh, are you an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, I'm an early bird. I love getting
Early
up
bird.
first thing. It's a struggle in the beginning, but once I'm up, I'm up. I'm ready to go like immediately within seconds.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So now we're going to end this by asking you three questions about legacy. So our first question for you, Rich, is What are you the most proudest of in terms of your accomplishments?
Uh, the thing that I'm most proud of in my accomplishments is probably getting my degree, bachelor's, and working on my master's. Eventually, it'll be my master's. Um, like I said, I wasn't a school a school kid, so for me, just working on that and getting that is a big accomplishment.
That's fantastic. And what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Um, just keep working hard. Don't give up. Life is definitely short. Unfortunately, in my job, I see it quite often, but just keep working at what you want to accomplish, and you can accomplish it.
And it almost sounds like work in an area where you're passionate about,
Oh, 100.
because yeah,
Yes,
because you're passionate
100%.
about your job, and what an incredible job. But more importantly, you're continuing to learn more in that field because it's bringing you joy.
Yes, if you're passionate about what you do, it makes time go by quicker. You love what you do, and it's much easier.
That's fantastic. And your last question is that if you had advice that you wanted to give to the people around you, if there's something that you want to just um, tell the world, just to make the world a better place, what advice would it be?
Always treat others as you would want to be treated, basically. Um, you got to go in it with this is how I want to be treated, so let me treat other people that way and stay nice to them and kind to them.
That's great. I think that, when I hear your journey and what you do and how passionate you are about helping people, it's that's inspiration for me, I know, and I'm sure that that's going to inspire a lot of other people as well, to see, just to take your advice, which is be kind, be nice, treat other people kindly, because you're out there helping your community and the people around you every single day with such selfless, such a selfless attitude and demeanor. So we really thank you for what you're doing, and you truly are an unsung hero.
Uh, Thank you.